for our last topic on the final grading, that is in lesson 10, that is entitled locus of points. So the topics covered here are the locus of points. Second is the five fundamental locus theorems. So we are going to relate the theorems in having the lines, the line segment, the curves, and so on. And then for the objectives at the end of the lesson, of course, the student should be able to first identify the locus of points. So these are the set of points, and then second is learn the rules of the locus theorem. So we have there five theorems, and then third is the loci, or that is the plural of locus, and with how geometry expressions can be used to explore the loci, or that is the set of all points there. Okay, so that is for the discussion. Let us first define what is a locus of points. But first, locus, that is from the Latin root word loc, which means place or location. Okay, so that is the set of points, and only those points that satisfies given conditions. Okay, so that is set of all points, commonly a line, line segment, curve, or those are the conics, that is including circles, curves, parabolas, ellipse, hyperbolas, and so on, or a surface or a plane. So those are the set of all points. And then we have here the following diagrams give the locus of point that satisfy some conditions. So we have here four examples. For the first one, locus of points equidistant from a point A will form a circle with center A. So that is a given point, the locus of points forms a circle. Okay, so that is if that is the point which is at the origin, so that is distant from P. So those are set of points, so this will be the locus of points. Okay, so that is equidistant from the origin or from point A, so that is forming a circle. And the next picture, that is locus of points that are equidistant from two lines will bisect the angle formed by the two lines. So if that is the line AO and then BO, if you're going to have there a line bisecting the two, so that is the locus of points for that one. Okay, and then the distances are all equal. And then for the third picture, that is locus of points equidistant from a line segment. So if we have here a line segment, so this will be the line segment. Okay, if we are going to have the path from the line segment, and that is from point P, so if we're going to follow this line segment, we are going to form a surface of a spherocylinder. A spherocylinder is composing of a cylinder and two hemispheres, so that is a half sphere for the hemispherical ends. Okay, so that is forming a surface of a spherocylinder. Okay, so that is the locus of points, this one. Okay, so the locus of points there is forming a surface of a spherocylinder, and next is the locus of points equidistant from two points A and B forms a perpendicular bisector of the line AB. So if that is the line A, B, we are going to have a line intersecting. Okay, so that is bisects the line AB, so that is at the midway, so this will be the locus of points. Okay, so having that one, therefore locus of points, that is the path from which the points move along a line, line segment, curves, or a plane or surface, so that is called the locus. Okay, so that is a locus. Okay, so having that one, we move on to five fundamental locus theorems. So we have here five. Okay, so for the first one, that is the locus theorem 1. So the locus of points at a fixed distance d from the point P is a circle with the given point P as its center and d as its radius. So if we have here, it says there that the center of the circle is at P, and then that is a distance d from the set of all points, so it forms a circle. Okay, so if that is a circle, this will be the set of all points or the locus of point. Okay, so therefore D there is the radius of the circle there. Okay, so a circle with center P and radius D. So given a point, the locus of points form a circle. So we move on to locus theorem 2. Okay, the locus of points at a fixed distance d from a line L is a pair of parallel lines d distance from L and on other side of L. So if we're going to draw that one, if this will be the line, okay, that's a line segment. So that is a line, so that is L, and it says there that it has there the distance. Okay, so that is distance d, okay, from the opposite, okay, from the other side, that is also equal to d, so this will be the locus of points there. So it forms a pair of parallel lines. Okay, so this will be the locus of points for a given line. Okay, so therefore, a pair of parallel lines d units from line L. Okay, so that is forming two parallel lines. Okay, so we have there locus theorem 3. Okay, the locus of points equidistant from 2 points P and Q is the perpendicular bisector of the line segment determined by the 2 points. Okay, so if you're going to draw the 2 points there, this is P and this is Q. Okay, so if you're going to draw their midway, okay, this will be the locus of point. Okay, so since that is a the perpendicular line to PQ, so that is 90 degrees. 90 degrees, same with this one. Okay, so that is given 2 points. Locus of points is a straight line midway between the 2 points. Okay, so it forms a perpendicular bisector of the line PQ. So this will be the perpendicular bisector of line PQ. So that is line PQ. Okay, so having that one, we have there the locus theorem number 4. The locus of points equidistant from two parallel lines, L sub 1 and L sub 2, or that is line 1 and line 2 is a line parallel to both L1 and L2 and midway between them. Okay, so if we're going to draw there two parallel lines, if that is L sub 1 or line 1, and this is L sub 2 or line 2, the locus of points is at its midway. So that is midway. So this one will be the locus of points, or that is the set of all points. Okay, so that is at distance d, and the same with this one, so that is at distance d. Okay, so that is locus forms a line midway between the parallel lines. Okay, so that is the locus theorem number 4. And for the last theorem, that is the locus of points equidistant from two intersecting lines, line 1 and line 2, or L sub 1 and L sub 2 is a pair of bisectors that bisect the angles formed by L1 and L2. Okay, so having that one, if we have here two intersecting lines, okay, so this one, we denote that one as L1, and then the other is L sub 2. So if we are going to draw there a bisector, okay, so that is perpendicular to each other. Okay, so having that these are the locus of points, and then this one also is the locus of points. So the two there is the loci of points. Okay, so having that, locus forms angle bisectors of angles between lines L1 and L2. So the angle here is same with this one. Okay, the same with this one. So they have the same angle, and then for this, it's the same also. And then this one. Okay, so that is the locus forms angle bisectors between lines 1 and line 2. Okay, now we move on to equation 2a locus. Okay, for this one, the rule is the equation of a curve is the relation that holds true between the coordinates of all the points on the curve and no other point except that on the curve. So we'll be showing this one later. And then for number 2, to find the equation to a locus, we start by converting the given condition to its mathematical equation or mathematical statement. Okay, so having this one, example number 1. Find the equation of the locus of a point which is at a fixed distance from the origin. So this one, if you're going to assess it, that is at theorem 1. So that forms a circle since we are given a point which is at fixed distance from the origin. So if the given is at the origin, so if that is, let's say that is at point O. So if we're going to draw there, it says there that the fixed distance from the origin. So 4 there is automatically the radius or the hypotenuse of a right triangle, of course. Okay, so that is at point P, and that is at X and Y. Okay, so that is at the abscissa, and for y that is the ordinate. So if I'm going to draw there, since it is equidistant from the origin, so it forms again a circle. Okay, so this will be the locus of points, or that is the set of points. Okay, so having that one, since OP, line OP is the radius. Okay, so that is equal to 4 units. Okay, so by Pythagorean theorem, again, if we're going to draw that one, if the distance from the horizontal is x and the distance from the vertical is the ordinate, which is y, so that is y and that is x, so it forms a right angle triangle. So to be able to find the values of x and y there, we have to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square or the sum of the square of the two legs. Okay, so having that one, since that is at the origin, that is at hk, that is 0 0, so hk. Okay, so that is if that is at center hk, so our formula would be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So this will be the standard form for a circle. And since it is at the origin, since c is at 0 0, so we may rewrite this one as x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, where r there is the radius and that is equal to 4. So rewriting that one, that is equal to x squared plus y squared is equal to 4 squared, and 4 squared is equal to 16. So this will be the equation of the locus of points. So that is therefore the equation of the set of all points, or the set or the locus of points, locus of points. Okay, so that is the required equation for that one. Okay, so moving on to example number 2. Find out the locus of a point such that it is equidistant from two fix points A and B, where A is at 1, 1 and B is at 2, 4, which was the perpendicular bisector of the line joining the points. Okay, so if we are going to have this one, sorry, so the locus of points here, therefore this circle has the equation of equal to, that is x squared plus y squared is equal to 16. So this will be the equation of the circle. So that forms the it forms by the locus of points. Okay, so example number 2. So we have it there. So it says there that it has a fixed points A and B. So if we're going to plot that one in the rectangular coordinate system, if this will be the x or the abscissa, and then for the y-axis, that is the ordinate. So that is the origin. So that is at 0, 0. It says there that a fixed point A, that is, let's see, that is 1, 1. So this will be a, that is at 1, 1, and then it says there B, fixed point B is at 2, 4. Okay, so that is 2, and then Y there is 4. Okay, so that is B at 2, 4. Okay, so if we're going to connect the line there, we form a what is that we form there a hypotenuse, which is, we are going to denote that one as C. So rewriting that one, so if we're going to write that one like this, okay, so that forms a hypotenuse. So if that is the let us denote that one as C. Okay, so that is A at 1, 1, and then fixed point B at 2, 4. So this will be at HK, and then the same with this one, that is at HK. So if we're going to draw there, since that is, if we're going to assess, that is at theorem 3. Okay, so having the theorem 3, we have to have there the bisector, okay, which is at the midway of the line AB. So that is the locus of points of that. Okay, so we have to find the equation of the locus of points, which is the bisector. Okay, so if we denote this one as point P, and that is at XY, so if we're going to connect this from A, the same with this one from B, so it forms there. Let us denote this one as, let's say, that is D already. Okay. Okay, so having that one, okay, so having that one, let us have this as the hypotenuse. This will be the hypotenuse, and this will be the legs. Okay, so that is the leg. Okay, so by Pythagorean theorem again. By Pythagorean theorem, since that is at HK, so having the Pythagorean theorem C squared, sorry, so that is D squared, the hypotenuse, that is the square of the hypotenuse, that is equal to the values of x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Okay, so having that one at HK, since it has a fixed point, which is A and B, so we substitute it from there. But since this is equidistant, this hypotenuse is equal to this hypotenuse, and the same with this one, these are all equidistant. So having that one, we have to equate the two. Okay, so having the equation, we have to get the square root for this one, so that this one will be cancelled, and we have to equate the hypotenuse of A, that is equal to the hypotenuse of B. Okay, so having that one, let us just rewrite, that is the square root of x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, and that is at point A, that is equal to the square root of x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, and that is at point B also. Okay, so having that one, we have to remove the square root, so we have to raise this one to 2 so that it will be cancelled, and what remained there is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared at point A, and that is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, and that is at point B. Okay, so substituting the values of hk to the formula, so that will become x minus h, which is 1 from point A, squared plus y minus k, which is also 1, and that is squared, that is equal to x minus h, which is x minus 2 squared, plus y minus k, which is 4 there. Okay, so 4 and then raised to 2. Okay, so that is, we have to expand this one. Okay, so expanding this one will become x minus 1 squared, so that is x squared minus 2x plus 1, the same with this one, y minus 1 squared, it will become plus y squared minus 2y plus 1, and that is equal to x minus 2 squared is x squared minus 4x plus 4, and then the same with this one, the same procedure, that is y squared minus 8y plus 16. Okay, so we have to combine like terms, so this one will be cancelled, since if we're going to transfer this one to the left side, it will be minus, so that is plus minus, so it is cancelled, the same with y squared, and what remain there is negative 2x and negative 4x. So we have to transpose this one to the left side of the equation, so that it will become positive 4x, and the same with negative 8y. So transposing that one, it will become positive, and then for this one also, that is 16 plus 4, so that is 20. Okay, so that is 20. Transposing to the left side of the equation, it will become negative 20, and then plus 1 plus 1, so that is equal to negative 18. Okay, so rewriting that one, that will become 2x plus 6y minus 18, that is equal to 0. Or if we're going to simplify this further, since the common multiple is 2, so dividing the equation by 2, so it will become x plus 3y minus 9 is equal to 0, or we can rewrite this one as x plus 3y is equal to 9. So this will be our final answer. This will be the equation of the bisector, or the locus of points. Okay, so that is, it satisfied already our drawing, since the locus of point there forms a line, so that is a linear equation, supposed to be linear equation, so that is in the in degree 1. So the equation for the line, that is x plus 3y is equal to 9. So that is the equation of the locus of points of example number 2. Okay, so that ends the example on the equation to a locus. Okay, so for additional notes, I have here included for the locus of point of the conics, which is the circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. We just have to have the overview for this one. Okay, so having the overview, okay, so for the circle, the general parametric form of this equation of a circle is x is equal to r cosine theta, and then y is equal to r sine theta. So x there is the abscissa, and then y is the ordinate. So if I'm going to draw here a circle, and if it has there the center, okay, so since that is the center, let us draw there the radius. So if that is the radius, and this will be the vertical distance, okay, so that is the abscissa, which is y, and the horizontal distance, which is x. And let us denote this one, this angle, to be theta. Okay, so having that one, if we are going to write their sine theta, so that is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, which is y all over r. So we may obtain there the value of the ordinate, which is y is equal to r sine theta. So this is the derivation of the general parametric form of the circle. And then for the cosine of theta, that is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is the x, that is the adjacent side from the angle theta, divided by the hypotenuse, that is r. So having the value of the abscissa, so that is x, that is equal to r cosine of theta. Okay, so that will be the values for the x and y there. Okay, so having the general implicit, or that is the standard formula of a circle, that is at center hk. So the general standard formula for that one is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So this comes from the Pythagorean theorem again, and r there is the radius. Okay, so if we are going to draw that one, okay, at center hk, which is at the origin, so let's say that is at the origin. So I'm gonna draw there at the center at the origin. So if that is radius r, okay, from point xy, so it forms a circle. Okay, so the equation of the locus of points here is equal to x squared plus y squared, since hk is at 0 0, that is equal to r squared. Or say for example, if the center is at hk, okay, so this will be the rectangular coordinate system, and let us say this will be the center hk, so that is at hk, and this will be the radius, okay, that is equidistant from the center, so it forms a circle. Okay, so the equation for the locus of points that is formed there, or that is the circle, so that is x minus h already squared plus y minus k squared, and that is equal to r squared. Okay, so for the second conic, which is parabola, where vertex is at hk, vertical parabolic curve x minus h squared is equal to plus or minus 4a, plus and minus 4a here determines the opening of the parabola. So that is the latus rectum, or that is the distance of the focus from the both ends of the curve. Okay, so the directrix for this one is y is equal to y is the y-axis. Okay, so having that one, the vertex there is at hk, so if that is at the origin, vertex is at 0 0, so it will become x squared is equal to plus and minus 4ay. Okay, so having that vertical parabolic curve, if we are going to draw that one at plus 4k, okay, so if that is the let's say that is the rectangular coordinate system, and it says there that the vertex is at the origin. So if that is positive 4a, the latus rectum is positive 4a, so it opens upward. And then this will be the focus, and then this will be the distance of the latus rectum, which is positive 4a. So that opens upward if that is a positive 4a, and if it is a vertical parabolic curve. And for the directrix, it is from y-axis. So that is the directrix of that. But if that is a minus 4a, so it opens downward. So if that is the rectangular coordinate system, this will be the vertex that opens downwards. So the distance from the focus, so this will be the focus, so that is the latus rectum, which is negative 4a already, and then the directrix is here, okay, somewhere located here up. Okay, so that is the vertical parabolic curve that is opening upwards or downwards. And then for the horizontal parabolic curves, that is opening to the left or to the right. So if that is at vertex is equal to hk, that is 0 0, so this one will be the vertex. So that is, if that opens to the right, and this one will be the focus, and then this one will be the latus rectum, that is positive for a, whereas but that is the directrix there is at x-axis. And then if that is negative 4a, so it opens there, this is the vertex, it opens already to the left. Okay, so this one will be the negative 4a already. Okay, so that is the focus, this is the vertex, and this is the directrix of that one. Okay, so there this circle there is the locus of points, of course, and then the same with the parabola. So this one will form a parabola, so that is the locus of points also. Locus of points. The same with this one. So those are the locus of points. So those are the loci of points. And then the same with this one. These are the locus of points also. For the horizontal parabolic curve. And then for the third conic, that is ellipse, where center is at hk. So if that is a vertical ellipse, so if I'm going to draw there the vertical ellipse, if that is at 0 0 center, so that is at the origin, so let's say this will be the center, so the vertical ellipse is like this. Okay, so that is 2a. Okay, 2a there, that is the major axis. But if that is only a, that is a major radius. Major axis, and that if it is divided by 2, that is a, that is equal to, that is called the major radius. And for 2b, okay, this one will be 2b, that is the minor axis. Minor axis, and that is if divided by 2, b there is the minor radius. And then for the directrix of the ellipse, that is at the y-axis. So that is the directrix, the same with this one, the directrix. So the locus of points forms there an ellipse. So that is a vertical ellipse. So that is locus of points. That forms the locus of points of the ellipse. Okay, so having the horizontal ellipse there, if that is at the center 0 0, at the origin again, so if I'm gonna draw that one, the ellipse, sorry, if that is the ellipse, this will be the center, and then the major radius or the major axis is this. 2a is the major axis, and then 2b there is the minor axis, and then for the directrix it is at the x-axis. Okay, so that is the directrix, the same with this one. So this one, it forms the horizontal ellipse, so that is the locus of points. Okay, so having the last conic, which is the hyperbola, where center is at hk, vertical hyperbola, that is y minus k squared, and then for the operation, that is minus. So for the ellipse, if we're going to have the hint there, we have there the operation positive, okay, or that is plus or addition, and then for hyperbola we have there negative, okay, and then that is equal to 1 also. Okay, so there are your hints. So for the vertical hyperbola, if I'm gonna draw there two intersecting lines for the vertical hyperbola, so if that is 2a, sorry, this should be longer, okay, since that is the major axis. And then for this one, that is 2b, so it is supposed to be longer. So 2a is supposed to be longer, so it will form, wait, I'll fix that one. So if that is the asymptotes, these are the asymptotes. This one is the value of 2a. Okay, so that is 2a and this is 2b. So that those are the major axis. That is the major axis. This one is the minor axis. So it forms there the curve. So that is the hyperbola. Okay, so it never meets since this is the asymptote for that one, and this one is the hyperbola, the two curves there, so it doesn't meet the asymptote always, no. So we have there, if the center is at the origin, so that will be the vertical hyperbola. So that forms the locus of points are the hyperbola. Locus of points. Okay, so the same with the horizontal hyperbola. So that is if we're going to draw there two intersecting lines. Okay, so that is 2a here. So that is longer than the minor axis, which is 2b. This one will be the asymptote. Okay, and then the line or the curve there opens to the right. Sorry, to the right and to the left. So for the asymptote, it doesn't meet there. Okay, so it forms there the horizontal hyperbola, which is the locus of points, or these are the loci. This one also. Okay, so that is the um, locus of point of a circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. So if you have there the formulas already, so it is derived from the locus of points. Okay, so that ends our discussion on the locus of points.